Channel viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. So I was trying to find information to do a CT loop episode for the ESFP, and I realized that the CT loop and the TC loop for the ENTJ are really quite similar because both have SETE as the loop functions. Not only is the TC loop and the CT loop very similar, many people often mistake the ESFP for an ENTJ. So I thought it would be good to do an exclusive ESFP episode first before we talk about the CT loop. So personally, I have encounters with many ESFPs, and in this episode I'm going to share two stories that I have with ESFPs. The first one is with an ESFP child. So as a child psychologist, I do meet a lot of ESFP students or ESFP children. The parents have to send their children to me because they got into trouble. So when I first met this ESFP child is rather irritating. Why? Because of his SE, he keeps playing with the things on my table. So it's as if he just cannot keep still. So I have to play with everything on my table. So he has a ball that he brought with him. He's kicking the ball all the time. So the SE is so strong, they just cannot keep still. So in a way, an ESFP child can seem to be very impolite. Now let's look at why this ESFP child have to see a psychologist. Well, the story goes, this 11-year-old boy was in class one day. He wanted to borrow something from his neighbor, which is a girl. It is an eraser that he wants to borrow. Initially, the girl says yes. Later, the girl changed her mind and says no. And this ESFP boy became very upset and angry. I can really understand why, because at the age of 11, your cognitive functions are not well developed. So you may have FI, but this FI is based on very vague type of moral values, like as a friend we must all share our things. So when the girl refused, this boy couldn't see from her point of view and said, I thought we were friends, I thought you already promised, how can you back out on your promise? So what did this boy do? This boy cursed the girl and her family. He told this girl that they will all die from COVID-19. This girl was so upset that she went to tell her parents, and that's how it escalated to the principal's office, and finally, eventually, this boy had to see me as a psychologist. So as you can see, ESFP children are very easy to identify. Generally, they are very nice children. However, when provoked or when triggered, they can become very personal. So there are a lot of ESFP children. You can find them in every primary school and secondary school. So it's very easy to recognize one. They cannot stop doing things, playing, talking, because of the SE. And they really like to be with their friends. But as you can see, whether ESFP children or adults alike, they have this tendency to be very personal when things do not go their way. In fact, I think that many ESFPs appear to be in denial. They only want to hear what they want to hear. So for example, an ESFP watched my ESFP ENTJ compatibility video. So this is another ESFP. She said that my ESFP video is a bullshit because she is dating an ENTJ and they have been together for 2 months and everything is going on very well. So I told her, good for you, but deep inside I was thinking, just you wait and see what will happen. So I personally don't know whether she is really dating an ENTJ because I don't know her boyfriend or don't know her date then. But it's over.
Love is over.
The ESFP and ENTJs don't click. So of all the MBTI types, I think the ESFP is the one that is most likely to get personal over things that they do not agree with. The second would be the ISFP. Okay, so actually I had wanted to just share about two ESFPs, but I mentioned one right in the middle just now, the one who watched my video. So now I'm going to talk about another ESFP. See, the ENTJ has NI, which is very unplanned sometimes. Okay, yeah. So there is a third ESFP that I had an unpleasant interaction with. So this ESFP, she's a trainer, and what actually happens is, one occasion, she was on the phone with me telling me how tiring her day was. So in her words, she said that she had a very terrible day because she was tasked to train some really stupid people. So I asked her, why are they stupid? So she said, they don't know what customer service is. When given a scenario, they don't know what to do. So she asked me, if you were a manager in a restaurant, some customer complained that the thing that they got was incorrect, what would you do? So I said, I will go and check. She said, wrong, that's not the correct answer. And she asked me to try again. I said, I don't know. So she said, are you stupid or what? So she said, this is the easiest question in the world. You don't even have to study customer service and you should know. Fair enough, she asked me a hypothetical question, so I used my NI to imagine myself in the position of a manager in a restaurant. I have never worked in the capacity, but I can imagine, right? So I imagine, and based on my TE, I would want to get the facts right. Was the order really made wrongly? She said, it's wrong. This is not the correct thing to do. What's the first thing you should do? She pushed me. And then finally she said, you stupid person. She scolded me and she said that everybody must know this. Everybody should know this. Apologize first.
Is it too late now to say sorry?
You know, it does not come naturally to the ENTJ to apologize at all, especially when it's not our fault, right? The ESFP is very over the top in this regard. That one I can still tolerate. One day, I told her that I did an ESFP episode and she should watch it. I also told her that our mutual friends have also watched the video and they really think that the video was describing her, the ESFP. Then you know what she did? She said, all these people don't know me that well.
Cause you don't know me.
So if you're talking about A as our mutual friend, she doesn't know me at all. If you're talking about B, she doesn't know me well. So all these people are talking bullshit. I don't believe in what your video is talking about. I said, you haven't even watched it. She said, my sixth sense tell me not to believe in it. ESFPs got sixth sense meh? So you see, it got really personal. I mean, if you call me stupid, that's fine, because if you think that I'm stupid, there's nothing I can do about it. However, you are insulting the MBTI. So what did I do? I burned bridges lor. So I have blocked this person entirely from my Facebook, contacts, everywhere. And I will never talk to this person ever again. So this is how you combat FI with FI. Your FI says this is not correct. My FI, which is my personal value, says that I must defend my MBTI. Bye. So even though ESFP use SE and FI, which is also in the ENTJ's cognitive stacks, however, the SE and the FI are id functions. So id functions don't really go well with superego functions, which is the TE and NI. So therefore, they are not a good match. A lot of times, their logic is so flawed that I can roll eyes. The ESFP has TE as their third function. They really like to believe that they are very logical. So talk about the boy again. So I asked him, okay, the girl has the right not to share anything with you. She can change her mind. Then he says, but I share things with her what? So I said, what do you share with her? The water in my water bottle. So according to them, as long as they share something, the other person must reciprocate. What kind of logic is that? The TE is really weak. But of course, this is an ESFP child. But ESFP adults sometimes also gave me this kind of vibes. Very childish vibes. But all in all, I think the ESFP can be really very considerate people. They love to be around others. However, sometimes...
Sometimes I run, sometimes I hide.
Well, the ESFPs can be really very generous people. I do get ESFP sharing their food, sharing their drink, sharing their knowledge. However, it is very hard for me to tell the ESFP that sometimes you are in denial. You only want to hear the things that are nice. At other times, you don't realize that you are inadequate. So, as an ENTJ, now consciously, I try to minimize contact with ESFPs. So in our next episode, I'm going to talk about the ESFP CT loop, which is very similar as I've described with the TC loop. So how is the city loop like, and how can ESFP in a city loop get out of the city loop? Watch out for the next episode. Okay, if you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more ENTJ, ESFP and MBTI. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I'll see you in my next episode. Goodbye!